First one from Nic Jones, and I should emphasise before we start that it's not a political song, but it is called the Outlandish Knight.
And he's followed her down, and it's into the room where she lay. She hadn't the strength for to flee from his arms, nor the tongue for to answer him, may. Rise up, me pretty Portly, rise up and go with me, and I will take you to North Scotland, there you'll married be. Go fetch you a bag of your father's gold, and some of your mother's fee, and 2 fine horses out of the stable, there standing 33. So she's lit upon her nimble going brown, and he's mounted the dapple grey. When they've come to North Scotland, it's just a 3 hours till day. Light you down, me pretty Portly, light you down, I say to thee. 6 kings' daughters have I drowned here, and the 7th will surely be thee. And pull off your fine gay clothes, hang them on yonder tree. And they are too fine and they cost too much for to rot in the Salt Lake Sea. Well, then you get a sickle and you're cutting down the nettles that can grow so close to the brim. For I fear they tangle me long yellow hair, and they'll tear me lily white skin. And so he's got a sickle and he's cutting down the nettles that can grow so close to the brim. She's picked him up so skillfully, and she's pushed the bulls night in. Lie there, me false young man, lie there in the room of me. 6 kings' daughters have you drowned here, and the 7th's drowned thee. So she's lit upon her nimble going brown, and she's left the dapple grey. When she's come to her father's door, 'twas just a 3 hours till day. Hush up, me pretty Polly bird, and don't you tell tales on me. Your cage will be made of the very beaten gold, and the door of the best ivory. But then up and spoke a fine young man in the chamber where he lay. What's the matter with me pretty Polly bird? You're talking so long the full day. Oh, there's 2 black cats at me cage and door, me life they will betray. And I'm just a calling for me pretty Polly, but to drive the cats away. And he's followed her up and he's followed her down, and it's into the room where she lay. She hadn't the strength for to flee from his arms, nor the tongue for to answer him, nay.
One of my favourite voices in the whole world, really. Nic Jones, and that was the Outlandish Knight. And Nic Jones again.
When first in this country a stranger, curiosity caused me to roam over quickly sailed over to England, where forms of great beauty do shine, and there I espied a young woman, and I wished in my heart she was mine. And it's there I spied a young woman. She appeared like some goddess to me as she rose from the reeds by the water on the green mossy banks of the Lee. Well, I stepped up and wished her good morning, and her cheeks they did blush like the rose. Says I, how the river looks charming, and your guardian I'll be if you choose. Says she, sir, I ne'er want a guardian. Young man, you are a stranger to me, and yonder is my father a-comin' o'er the green mossy banks of the Lee. So I waited till up come her father, saying, your daughter a lady shall be. She'll ride in a carriage and horses over the green mossy banks of the Lee. They invited me home to their cottage. Soon after, this lady was mine, and there I built a fine castle in grandeur and splendor to shine. So it's now this American stranger, all pastime and leisure can see. He can live with his gentle young woman on the green mossy banks of the Lee. So all you young women, attention. No matter how poor you may be, just you think on that gentle young woman on the green mossy banks of the Lee.
The excellent Nic Jones there, and the green no, not so much bossy, the green mossy banks of the Lee. And I can't tell you with any clearness where the Lee is, because when I did geography at school, we always did Canada, and I can speak most interestingly about Medicine Hat and Saskatoon and the felling of trees, but I can't tell you where the Lee is. Here's one from Nic Jones.
Well, it's early one morning, Billy Henry arose, and straight unto his comrade's bedroom he goes, saying, rise, my loving comrade, let nobody know, to the dark and chilly waters a bathing we'll go. And Billy instantly stripped, and then he went in, and he swam the dark waters all round and around, saying, "Oh, me loving comrade, oh, don't you come in, for I see there is a coffin in the lakes of Shillin." Now the other one he stripped at, and then he went in, and he swam the dark waters all round and around, saying, "Oh, me Billy Henry, why did you go in to the dark and chilly waters in the lakes of Shillin?" Now there was an old woman who lived there close by, and she went to Billy's parents, she made this reply, "Oh, well, your son, he went to bathing, as I've heard him say, and now your Billy Henry, he's as cold as the clay." And so down came his mother like one in despair, she's a wringing of her hands and a tearing of her hair, saying, "Oh, me Billy Henry, why did you go in to the dark and chilly waters in the lakes of Shillin?" And then down came his father like one in despair, he's a wringing of his hands and a tearing of his hair, saying, "I've brought up a family of fine-bodied men, and the best of them's drowned in the lakes of Shillin." And then down came his sweetheart like one in despair, she's a wringing of her hands and a tearing of her hair, saying, "Oh, me Billy Henry, why did you go in to the dark and chilly waters in the lakes of Shillin?" And so we'll go round to Martin's by the shore, and we'll hire us a small boat as we've done before, and we'll search in the dark waters all around and all round, till we see that Billy Henry's fair body is found. And for to see Billy's funeral was such a fine sight, there were 6 handsome young men all dressed up in white, there were 6 pretty maidens all dressed up in green, just to show he'd been drowned in the lakes of Shillin.
And that's the name of it, the Lakes of Shillin. Nic Jones does have a remarkable voice. I was just listening to him there. It really is incredible. Kind of an eastern quality to it sometimes. Very, very good indeed. Like his singing a great deal. Should be a new LP from him soon too.